Tayo.
Hello, my name is Hidekuni or Hida and welcome back to my channel. I'm a creative being and a mess of an artist and I take you along onto my art journey. In this video we will talk about LGX. It is a local and Luxembourgish convention and oh dear, have I experienced things. And I'm somehow not looking forward to talk about it. I have written a whole on list of things I want to talk about in some kind of an order, but I for sure don't have everything on there yet and I probably missed out on things. Why I will record what I have. I haven't started editing yet, but if something is missing I will just record that then later. If my outfit changes throughout the video or if I look different, that's why. Because at this point I cannot be bothered to now film this properly in one go and then later maybe miss something. Because there is a lot I have to talk about and I want to talk about. If there are any people involved, I will not name those people and I will also blur out any names involved in all of this. Because first of all, I don't feel like I have the right to do that and I do not want to put any kind of attention on any person, as there is probably already enough spotlight on certain people. And on the other hand, Luxembourg is so small that if you want to find a name, you will find a name. On another note, I know I am missing out on some other conventions and I just wanted at first to do this chronological because all the events were a success and cute and precious and I enjoyed them a lot, so those were just some cute little videos. But this last weekend, because today is the 1st of October, and last weekend there was LGX, and there happened just so many things that I feel like I have to talk about them now, and I want to upload this video next, because I think it's important. On another note, this video will also be tricky, because maybe by now you might have noticed that I'm not very fond of LGX at the moment. Like, it is a local con, I like local conventions, I want to support local conventions, but there have been things that were not great and left many people unhappy, and I want to talk about all of that because it has to be addressed in some way, and I try my best to give you my full experience because that's what I do these videos for. It's to share my experiences with you guys so you have an idea how a convention can be like, is like, especially if you're looking forward for a certain con. And I want to give this to you in a rather neutral way because I don't want to sit here and be like, no, don't go to this convention or go to this convention. Well, if it's great, go to this convention. Great conventions are great and should be visited and you should go there and have fun and great experiences yourself. But I also want to share this kind of conventions because you should be aware of what could happen at a con, especially if it's also negative, and that such things exist, sadly. It also gives me a little taste of my Proud NerdCon video of last December. If you're curious, go check it out. It was also a con that was not as artist friendly, and so is this one. And that's why I try to be very attentive about what I say and how I say it, to be as truthfully as possible. Of course I can make mistakes, but I really want to avoid that, and that's also why already throughout the con I took notes of things I noticed and thoughts so that I could give you all the experience and don't forget anything. To start my convention experience, we jump back to 2023. Last year I applied for LGX 2023 in March, and I was very excited to be part of this convention again because I was there in 2022 for the first time, and I had already there a not so good experience because we applied there, like we contacted them rather late asking if they still have a spot free, And they did so because one other table jumped off. But it wasn't an artist table, it was an exhibitor table of someone, I think, that had Lego and would showcase it, which is wonderful, but it's not a spot where you sell things. So we were not in the main hall, but rather at the end of the con, and we were also not as visible. So this affected how our sales went and how people interacted with us. I still made some profit, which was great. It wasn't as nice though, because the atmosphere and the vibe just pulled me down a bit. So I was very looking forward to see how 2023 would go, actually sitting in the artist alley. So we applied at the end of March and we got a reply at the end of April. So they took us, they sent us our invoice and our contract, which we would sign and then also pay the invoice. And then silence, nothing, until the 23rd of July, around 3 months later. So we got contacted by an email that never contacted us before, and this email informed us about the bankruptcy of the company that organized LGX since quite some time. You do not expect to receive such an email, especially not under such circumstances. This email got created with the only purpose of send this one email to all exhibitors, informing them, I don't know, it probably was some kind of whistleblower. I'm sorry, I cannot say that word. I love that word, but I cannot say it. But yes, how else would they have all the email information of all the exhibitors to be able to send them out? Because I was not the only one who received this email, but friends of mine who are also artists and applied for 2023 got this email. It was just a hit in my face receiving that, and I was so angry and mad that day. Also, it was like around 11 o'clock in the evening, almost 11 o'clock, and I didn't sleep well that night. The bankruptcy went through on the 5th of May, 8 days after we sent out the 232 euros for our 2 artist tables. This hurts. This is a lot of money, and yes, we split the cost, so it's 116 euros per artist. 116 euros is still a lot for me. I can handle it. Other artists, on the other hand, that's a lot of money to invest into a con and then go out with nothing but that. Something else that also made me very mad personally, and I think is important to share because it just shows the nature of that company, or at least some people that worked for that company, is that on the 12th of May, 7 days after the bankruptcy came through and all accounts, bank accounts, social media accounts got frozen, because that happens if you go into bankruptcy. Everything gets put onto hold, so you cannot use it anymore until the investigations are through and over and done. And what do I know? I never went through that, but everything gets put onto hold, so you cannot use it anymore. 7 days after, they sent an email to one of my artist friends and sent them another bank account that was not the frozen one, telling them that they have to pay the 230 euros over there. So they still took money after they went bankrupt to probably run off with it. It's just frustrating that such a thing happens and that a company profits off exhibitors but also artists. Like, yes, artists are exhibitors, but you cannot compare some artists that do it for a hobby to merchants that have a full-on living from that and have multiple workers and all that, who make hundreds of euros at a con, while an artist makes just a very small amount. Of course, we contacted them, we tried to reach out to them to get any kind of information, but nothing. We, as in the artists I know, tried to collect evidence, to like talk about it and such, to see what our possibilities are, but we were pretty limited because we would have had to go through court, but that is a big investment and that's something we weren't able to do. My partner even called the location, which is Lux Expo. It's the biggest halls we have here in Luxembourg. They're in Luxembourg City, and he even called them to explain them that we are artists and that we invested into LGX and to get like a table there, and that we didn't get informed about the bankruptcy, and asking if LGX even paid the hall back then, like for last year, and they did. So that money went into the building. We tried to find a loophole because in the contract they have something stated as in, if the event is not happening and this gets stated 30 days before the actual date of the event, we would get our money back. But this never happened. And yeah, like we if you spend so much money on something, you try to desperately find a loophole or like a possibility to get your money back in some way. It's not just Fuzzy Luna's table and my table and our money that was lost. No, so many friends of me, other artists, their money was gone. Money of certain exhibitors were gone as well. Like, we are talking about so much money here that was just gone. This is the story of LGX in 2023, and it gives it already a very bad taste. Yes, I'm aware that you cannot confuse the new organizers with the old company that took over LGX and then ruined it. That's not the case, but due to the events that have happened before, it still has this very bad aftertaste, and the new organizers have to live up to certain expectations, and they have to make up for what has happened the year before. So of course there is much more pressure on their shoulders, and I'm very much aware that those are different people and you cannot blame them for what other people have done. Due to the bankruptcy and what has happened, people have lost trust, and that's something they have to regain and build up. And that's much more work again, because there is no guarantee that everything will be fine. There is no guarantee for us that they will live up to the expectation they now set again and told us. They have to show that they are trustworthy, that they are competent, and that they create a new safe space for the people that got lied to and the money stolen and treated awfully by this bankruptcy and those people. So we didn't hear anything back from LGX until this year March, where LGX fell back to the group of people that created LGX, because back then when LGX came to life, it was held somewhere else here in Luxembourg, and it was organized by a group of people. I don't know who they are, like, I have no idea. And they then eventually gave it over to the company that then organized it and made it become super big. And then of course made profit and then went bankrupt. That's the story of what I know and what I can share with you. In that email and throughout the process of these conversations, they asked if we still want to participate, if we have confirmation of our payment, which we also sent in, so they knew that we paid. And due to that, we got a table at the 2024 edition, which is great because we didn't have to pay anything for it since we already paid back then, despite them not have received the money, if I understood that right. Because if you said no to this table, I think you couldn't get a refund because there was no money to refund you. So we were in contact with them again and we had a table. So the money we invested into LGX was not gone. Like, it was probably gone, but we still got our table for it, which was great and very reassuring. Now in 2024, everything went good at the start. We just had to send in a new application over their website, which we did. And something I noticed, but don't usually take badly, because it also is the case for facts, and I just feel like it is the French and Belgian way to do things, is that if you apply for a table at a convention, you do not go by table, but you book the space. And we booked 3 by 3 meters, so we had half a meter more than in our initial application for 2023, which was fine. for me it was clear that we would just both have 1.5 meter tables to cover one side of the 3 meters and then use some of the space that goes to the back, but we would not use another 3 meters. Like usually 2 meters are more than enough and you have more than enough space to manage your things behind the booth. So we applied and the table measurements were not in the application. Yes, we booked 2 tables because I need a table and my boyfriend needs a table. But then we got the contract in which the sizes of the tables were declared. And those sizes were 1.86 meters per 75 centimeters. And you cannot fit such on such a surface. So I wrote them about it. I wrote them about the possibilities and if you maybe have a corner booth, because then we could have both sides with artist stuff. I wrote them, they were like, no, unfortunately not, we cannot change anything. And that was the week, like it was not the week of the con, but the week before. And in that email they also wrote that the tables will be 180 times 50 centimeters, which is a change of measurements and size. And that was very frustrating and confusing, so I wrote them about that and I never got an answer back. In the same email I also asked for a map of the event and the exhibitors guides, so we would know how to arrive, where to enter, how to get our tickets, where our table is standing, so everything goes smooth. And I got told that they are not ready and that they don't have that yet, which made me panic a bit because it was 1 week before the event. Usually you are better prepared, especially if you have such a big con, because for Luxembourgish standards it's rather big, and even for German standards of how big they presented it, it looked rather big. Yes, emphasizing on looking. So I never got a reply to my one email and I was waiting for the map and the guidelines, which I also didn't get because they got sent out on the 24th of September, 4 days before the event and 3 days before us having to set up. So I did not know what to do because they didn't answer my email and also they didn't update me on their own. So I just went to Instagram, made a story to ask other people if they have any information. And indeed, I got a reply where I got told that those things got sent out. That was on Thursday, like the day before setup. So my boyfriend just immediately called there and asked them about it, and then we got everything sent, we could look it up, and the map looked good because we indeed had a corner booth, which made me very happy. It was like all my problems with the tables would be solved. Sorry. Everything would be great, we just have to drive there, get our tickets set up, it would be fantastic. And I also noticed that one of my friends that couldn't attend anymore was on there, so I contacted them to ask if they could solve it, but they had issues with reaching out to LGX as well. They didn't answer them. They had trouble having contact with LGX, just as I did a bit. My partner also called LGX again on their behalf to figure out what to do with their table, and they also solved that, which also made me happy. Like, things seemed fine again and good again and made me happy and excited for the event. I was looking forward to it until we arrived. So I'm very upset right now because there is a table standing where my table is supposed to be. On the plan there is just like, I don't know, looks like maybe an artist, I don't know, looks already rather big, but I'm supposed to make the corner, which would have been perfect because you could have put one table here, one table there. And now there is like this huge, what do I know? And my table is gone because here and here on the plan are other artists. So my table is not existent right now. It's very frustrating. I'm about to cry, to be honest. And how are people supposed to find us here between those huge merchants? So we moved now from there because they wanted to put us like behind the giant thing to this spot, and we got now 3 tables instead of 2 because the measurements are all over the place. We also got 3 chairs now because I think they don't care about it. Hello.
Hi.
And he's playing now cleaning lady because there's water.
I brought you your paper.
I play cleaning lady now, so I cleaned out my own thing here because the floor is all wet. I have no idea what happened here. I hope there is no leak anywhere. And I hope my art will be safe over the night, over the weekend. Then again, I'm at the point where I'm not surprised about anything going wrong anymore, but I will be so utterly mad. This is disgusting. What's it there? Oh my god. But yes, we are now next to, okay, watch me clean, I'm cleaning very well, but yes, this is for the trash later. We just put it on the floor, and then afterwards we get, like tomorrow we'll get a trash bin out and clean it away. But we are now against the wall, so we have people passing here as far as I know, and then also people will pass here. There is Sunakorp, and then here, yeah, here's also something, so there will be a corner. So we will have here a path, and like this we can display actually, despite it still being 3 to 3 meter, which I'm fine with, but with the tables they would have given us, it would have not worked out, and now we could completely fill the 3 meters in front, which gives us 1.5 meter per artist, and I have this little thingy on the back there, which is fine, but to get there, oh my god, I cried before, like I could not handle that anymore. Also like them just being so unprofessional and so chaotic and just changing things around just like that without consideration, and I don't know, it's a mess. I think organization wise it's the worst convention I ever was, and this is a local thing, and I'm so upset about it and so disappointed at our local community in some way. But they gave us now a third table so we could fill them out, because I will also make the math. I will show you the options we went through. It was horrible with the 186 times 75 centimeter tables. It's just like, it was awful. Oh yes, so this is like workable with, but why didn't I get this without the stress? Like why did I have to go through this? Like no other convention I was at was this unconsiderate. Very frustrating. So let's get this all on there and make a pretty table. Also there is a light above us, so I hope tomorrow, like usually setup day, they don't put them on, but the day itself they do when the people are there, so it's all light and visible. So I think that should work. I'm already done. That hasn't even started. So on Thursday we got the official map of how to set up and how it was planned. To then on Friday arrive there and not find the map how it was supposed to be, like the layout of the tables. And already at that point on Friday there existed a second layout, an official layout that was also the one they used later on online. Of why I wonder, why would you then on Thursday send out the old map and then on Friday already have a new one? Why wouldn't you then say, hey, we are working on a new layout, this is not official map, please don't consider it. It's very badly organized. And that was already a big sign. On another note, we also got a timetable of when we were supposed to arrive, and usually at a con they tell you we are there from 2 in the afternoon until 8 or 10 in the evening. That's an example. But they had a timetable for exhibitors, the gamers, the artists, like creators, cosplayers, like very like I will just show it to you. Like that's what we got, and that was so confusing. Also some other artists didn't really grasp what they wanted from us, since this was not a normal thing for a convention. So also when my boyfriend called for the exhibitors guidelines and the map, the layout, he asked about it and they said that this is the preferred way, like if you would arrive in that time frame, but it's not necessary. So we took that also very loosely, and on Friday we drove there around 4, like we were there at 4, and it was a bit of a hassle to get in and find parking, because it was overall just a lot, because there were already 2 other events happening on that weekend. So there were also many people and many cars that were unloading and loading things. It was a lot. Yet when we arrived there, we noticed that that one person that were in charge of us artists was the only person in charge of everything. Like, if you would have asked me who is behind LGX, I would have said that person, because that is the only person I saw and knew. And that was also the person I was in contact with via email, trying to figure things out and hardly getting any information. And once I saw my table, I was just so frustrated. Like, I was physically unwell and so overwhelmed emotionally that I could not talk to that person. I was unable to do so. I was about to throw my phone. Like, I was really like, I was not doing well. And I don't make a secret out of it. I have a personality disorder, which is borderline, which is having difficulties with emotions. And it is not an excuse on how I react to things, but an explanation. And I also mostly take care of that and try to be rational and friendly with people. But at that point, I couldn't hold myself together anymore. And this was the first time that at the con, I didn't manage. And I was crying because of a con. Like, I was tearing up. I couldn't talk anymore. I'm so glad and happy and thankful that I have a wonderful boyfriend and a wonderful partner that then stepped up and talked to that person once my boyfriend found them and figured out the table situation. Like, I'm so happy that they were there and got something we can work with, because what we got offered was just awful, because they wanted to put us behind this giant booth. But the thing is also, we had the electricity hanging behind us in our spot, and some of the other giant booths had their construction in our spot, and it wasn't much, but it is enough that it is annoying. And if you give me 3 by 3 meters, I want my 3 by 3 meters. Like, we paid 232 euros for that, then I want to at least have what I paid for. And you might think this is Karen behavior, but it is a lot of money for an artist, especially under such circumstances of not being informed properly, not being informed about changes, and being treated in a certain way where you just think like, you should not be in customer service. Like, you shouldn't be in charge to organize people and have to talk to people if you don't manage that. Awful. The reason why I also mention my borderline is not to just let you know that I have that, but because many artists I know and got to meet at conventions are also neurodivergent, and being social can be very exhausting and overwhelming for such people, including me. It's a lot. Loud environments, being social, abrupt changes, anything can be a big toll on someone's mind, and that's why it's also important to create an environment that is safe for such people or that helps in such situations. That's why I also often talk about when a convention was very loud or very chill, because it can have an impact if one artist wants to attend that event or not. Because as I said, I had help from my boyfriend and my partner. Maybe someone else wouldn't have managed that situation due to being alone, or due to the language, because the person in charge spoke French most of the time. They could speak English, but it was at times very hard and they had certain difficulties, which is also fine. I'm also not a native English speaker, so it can be hard at times to express yourself in another language, but it also added up to everything and made it also a bit hard to communicate properly. So we got our spot where I set up my baby boy table. I love my table, and I think it is so important that you as an artist love your table and create something that makes you happy and brings you joy and is filled with all your wonderful art. And whenever I talk about my table, I see myself and I feel like I talk like a guy that talks about his car and is just like so in love with his car. That's my table, that's my baby, that's my everything. It was so small, like it was this small, when I was at Dokumi, then I was this small when I was at Dokumi, I felt this small, and we both just grew so much in 4 years. And I'm so proud of me, but I'm also so proud of my table. And it's also what people see when they come to an event. It's the table. And no matter what, make sure your table is just your space, your realm, and something that brings you joy, because I think that's very, very important. No matter where you go, your table is always with you. Like, no matter what event, your table is there, it represents you. And I went in with that mindset of building up my table, and that's why for the first time since arriving there, and also the days before, where I was like zen, and I was like, no matter what happens, I just make a pretty table. And I succeeded because I'm proud of my table, and I think it's just cute and has everything on I like. And that's what I want for you. If you're an artist, if you go to conventions or events or markets or anywhere else where you show your art, where you sell your art, look at your table and make it pretty and something that is just very you. Go get inspiration at other tables, at other artists, it's great, and then steal everything and make it your own thing. Combine things, break things, glue things together, I don't know. But be your true self with it. I think throughout this video, this will be the happiest you would see me. I could calm down, I built up the basics like my wire shelves and all that, and then I went home to do the rest in the morning on Saturday. So it is Saturday morning, we are all set up, at least I am all set up, my boyfriend still has to do some finishing touches, and then we are ready for LGX. And I hope that everything went wrong yesterday and this morning, and what do I know, but now during the convention that everything goes great. I am looking forward for all the nice people, for people I know, because it's in Luxembourg, and Luxembourg is tiny, so there is a very, very big chance of like seeing people back that I know. And yeah, also other exhibitors and such, and artists, there are some I know, although they have also many artists I don't know yet, which I was surprised. Like, I think there is also more French artists and all that, like artists from the west side more, not from as much from Germany and such, but also more French, Belgium and Dutch artists. And yes, I'm just very excited to see who will be here, also like with their art, and then also visitors, and how do we go. Very excited. But yes, I am still very tired, and yesterday just killed me like so much. I forgot to check my envelopes and my business cards yesterday, so I should have enough business cards still left for today at least, for sure, and also the envelopes. So in case I would run out of anything, I can stock it up later tonight, because I sleep at home. That's beneficial for this kind of conventions, because they're local and I don't have to book an Airbnb. Of course, one year it can go bad, the other one can go good, and the other way around. So I really hope that it still goes good, besides the hiccups it had, and yeah, then we shall see. I will try to keep you updated throughout the con, like over the last few cons. I didn't manage to do that as well, because I was very stressed. I was mostly also alone. It was a lot. Konichi was huge. Any many was very exhausting for me. I also got super sick afterwards. And also, no note, I haven't uploaded this yet, so we'll see if I do it chronologically or if this is already up. You know, I did not, but I will still try and work on these videos because I would love to have them up. Just like give a little heads up, even if I didn't record much, while there might also be smaller videos, small little convention updates. So I hope that's fine for you. And yes, if you enjoy this video, maybe you wanna follow me and be around for my art journey. But yes, let's rock this. It's already 9 and people should all be here, but it's so empty right now. I think at 10 when most people can in, because at 9 VIP can go in, and then at 10 the rest of the people. So I hope at 10 most people come in, really hope so, and then we shall see. And also, as usual, I think most people will be there at around 2 after food, when everyone ate, when they're not busy trying to find food, and they can just chill in the afternoon.
These are always cost.
Oh, I see. I see. But I didn't see a slit to put money in. Huh? What? Ah, I see. It's Sunday morning and it's very chill. I don't want slushy. I don't like slushy. I know, but I don't like slushy. Even if it's free. Faku likes slushy, not me. Shiny.
I'm going to find out if this works or not.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Did you play that before?
Yes.
How?
I play this every time I go to England. Oh, can I skip the tutorial? Apparently not.
Use your feet, not your hands. I have hot cocoa, I'm happy. And now we have to, like, the con starts in 10 minutes, but I cannot be bothered to be fast because Sunday. We take this blanket off now, and then I put my stickers back up, my prints back out, my zines back up, and we are ready. And adjust some things because some prints are crooked, but that's all I need to do. And then I hope Sunday will work well, because Saturday already went pretty well. I think I made the devil's number yesterday, which is probably a good luck thingy. Let's see, I hope. And then let's see what we will do today. In 2022, I made 350 euros within 2 days. So my goal was to make 400. Like, I went in with such low expectations. Because with the stress, with my previous experiences, I didn't have high expectations. I was just like, if I have the costs in of everything, fine. If I make 400, nice. For the rest, I don't care. And Saturday went very well. We had many people there, and on another note, The people that came there talked to me, were friendly, and all the people that watched me be in my stories on Instagram because I had to let it out somewhere were the sweetest people and gave me so much support, and also for that I am so thankful. You have no idea how much hold you gave me and have positivity, and even if people just reacted to it and gave me like little words, I felt hurt and I felt supported. And I could cry right now, but I don't want to cry. But I cannot express enough how much this means to me, and that I didn't feel alone, because if you're at a con, you have like this big con there and they can just like, I don't know, kick you out or what do I know, or be mean to you. And it's such unexpected things, and you just feel weak and alone in that position. So like having that meant the world to me and gave me a lot of energy to survive that weekend. And also all the other exhibitors of artists and cosplayers and gamers that had booths there, just being able to talk about it and share that experience and see that I'm not the only one that struggled with them meant the world to me, because I am not the only one that had the difficulties. Sunday on the other hand was very slow because it's Luxembourg. Then again, on Sunday at LuxCon I usually make more, but yeah, not at LGX. You don't do more on Sunday at LGX. And I was still fine with the overall outcome of how much I made. I'm still very proud of me. I made a lot there for what I have expected, and I was money-wise very satisfied, sales-wise very satisfied. People, the best, but the organization. Everything was good, but the organization. Money-wise, I had expenses of like, let's calculate. I had the 232 euros for the table with my boyfriend, so we split them in half. It's 116 euros per table, like for us. And then I had food for 34 euros for like my lunch and my breakfast and my drinks and all. And snacks are very important. Please stay hydrated and take care of your food at conventions. It's very important because you need that energy, especially when stressed. And snacks, sweets. I snacked so much, but I was just like, I don't care, I need it right now to be happy in some way. And then I had the gas, where I just think like, yeah, 25 euros because you need like barely half a tank. That's 12 euros 50 per head. And then I did not pay any parking because we got exhibitor parking. And yes, we ate out. I ate out on Friday because I needed some kind of treat for me. And then as usual, we go always eat out on Sunday. Have a nice evening, be proud of ourselves, reward us, and that's the price. That's what I had to pay. Of course, it's more because I allowed myself to pay more because I wanted to be rewarded by something. And that is, on the other hand, what I made in sales. It is 1,131 euros. It's more than 3 times of what I made 2 years ago, and I was just very happy with it, despite Sunday being very slow. Because if it wasn't that slow, I would have made more. But in general, I just think people in Luxembourg are very tough, and unlike in Germany, where people pass your booth and look at it, they are rather distant. And that's also something I experienced more at French and Belgian cons. While in Germany, artists are much more established and something you go to and have their own rooms or like parts at the con, and it's a difference. Like, it's a cultural difference, it's a cultural convention difference, if I can call it like this. Also the way of how people pay, because in Germany they go get cash and pay you with cash. I make a very low percentage of my sales in Germany via card, while on Saturday at LGX I made most my sales via card. It's insane. Like, the difference is like very, very different. Then again, I feel like LGX is in general more French orientated. Some of my emails were also in French, and I just then go to DeepL and copy paste it in, and then I read it in English. Like I don't even translate it to German or such, which is like the first language I learned to write. No, I go to English because it's just faster and easier, and I liked it more. I also mostly go to German conventions, so I'm very spoiled with my maybe German standards of like if I want a table, I book a table, I get a chair, I get a ticket, and don't have to think about the surface because the convention organizes their layout of tables and their artist alley. While yeah, with the French, I call it now the French system, you have more freedom of where to put things and such, but it's also much more organization for yourself. Because yes, you can also bring your own tables, but that's organization wise a lot. Or you get the tables, but then those tables don't fill out the space properly. I also felt very distant from the organization that organized LGX. I know one person, I wrote with that person, I saw that person, that was enough. But if you ask me who organized LGX, I couldn't tell you. There was no presence, there was no connection to those people. While if you ask me who organizes Konichi, oh, I know it's a group of people, like it's a very big group of people, because also organized a lot by Animex, but it's people that do that voluntarily, it's for non-profit and such. While with Dokumi, it is for profit, it's a company that organized that, they were always super friendly in their emails. I know it's also many volunteers that work there. Then again, a smaller con in Germany is NonkiCon, it's also volunteer, it's a little club, and they put a lot of effort into creating a little space for like Japanese culture and promote that mostly. Like you somehow build up a relationship to cons and you know somewhat the organizers and you recognize some of them. And yes, LGX is bigger, but it's local. LuxCon is local. Yes, of course I know some people because my boyfriend works for them in the organization and such. But even despite that, like 5 years ago, I felt like you see those people over and over, you knew where to go to if you had a problem and such. And this is just, I don't know, it's missing with LGX. Like for me as an exhibitor, I do not feel attached to it. And that's sad. Because you want people to be attached and you want people to come back and you want people to feel welcomed, which is not the case with LGX. A good thing is I was very far away from the stage. I'm very glad they didn't put us between merchants afterwards because they plan on doing so at first. But I'm very sad for some other people there, like I know some of the gamers, and they had a booth there to make tournaments for which they would need internet, and on Saturday they didn't have internet for more than half of the day. Also on Saturday they opened I think 2 hours later, but I'm not sure on that, but that's what I heard and got told, because they set the timer on their website differently to open at 12 instead of 10 because I think they had issues. And then also apparently some people were supposed to enter already at 9 and then the main people at 10, so that was also very unclear. On Sunday morning when the convention started at 10, the lights were still out in the hall, and then my boyfriend went out to go ask if they maybe want to put the lights on, because during setup times you do not need all the lights, you just need enough light so you can see what you're doing. But when the visitors come in, they actually need to see what they're looking at. So you put the big lights on, and they didn't put that on. And when my boyfriend went out to ask someone to put them on, they asked if they are necessary, which is an interesting take and answer to have. It was just a mess. Building up was a mess, figuring out the layout was a mess, reaching out to the organizers was a mess. It was just poorly organized. And of course, I told you they went bankrupt and they probably just got everything that was left, like maybe the location, since it was paid last year already. I do not know how they handled that. Then also the funds that were maybe left, I don't know if they got money. It seems like they didn't get the money, but don't take me on that. I have no proof, I have no idea. I just try to figure it out based on what I saw. I know that it's hard to then pull off a proper convention. It's the first con since, and you have to work with what you have. But they were understaffed. They would have needed more people there. They should have reached out more and find people that would work free for them, like as volunteers, to organize things. And whenever I was looking for someone because I saw someone else have a problem and they needed someone, I never found anyone, because it was not very clear for me who was staff and who not. This was a hot mess of a convention. I survived it. I am very happy that I went. I'm very happy that I had so many lovely people there, that I made my sales, that I made all my costs in. I am still very happy about every local convention. I just hope for next year they can build up a bit more, that they can get a stronger foundation, that they now maybe have the funds. I hope that they didn't go out with a loss. I hope they will succeed better next year, because as I already said, I'm not here to like wish the worst to them. No, in contrary, I want them to succeed, so we have another great con where we can go to and be happy and have a community and just have fun. And that's really what I want. So I hope that next year everything goes better, that they have more staff, that they have more funds and all of that, so we can have that experience. And if you ask me if I would go again, yes, it's a local con. It's not far away, it's lucrative for me still. I want to go there, despite all the nerves it cost me this year and also last year, but it wasn't accepted, because usually a convention doesn't go bankrupt. So I hope this now happened and they will move on from there, they will become stronger, and that next year will be great, and I'm looking forward for that. Again, it was very important for me to share this with you, and I hope it was still interesting for you, and I hope it gives you somewhat of an insight of what this was like and that it makes sense. Again, if you have any questions or also feedback, please let me know down in the comments. On another note, if you want to support me, I have a Ko-fi and you can check it out, or my Instagram, because I'm very active on there at the moment, to my own surprise. And yes, I wish you a good day or night wherever you are. Bye!